Golden State Media Concepts presents the GSMC Classics series, with episodes of some of your favorites from a day gone by. A time gone by. Join us as we time travel to some of your classic favorites from yesteryear. The GSMC Podcast Network invites you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the GSMC Classics series on the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network.
Love a Mystery, a Carlton E. Morse audio novel featuring Jack, Doc, and Reggie, specialists in crime and adventure, now following the northwest trail of a missing millionaire, a killer cougar, and the Phantom Castle. This is Fred Foy introducing Jim Harmon's presentation of Les Tremayne and Tony Clay in an original Carlton Morse thriller, The Fear That Creeps Like a Cat. 6 o'clock in the evening in the Phantom Castle on one of the myriads of tiny islands off the west coast of Canada, Jack, Doc, and Reggie's million-dollar manhunt in an attempt to find Alexander Archer has ended with the three of them prisoners of Richard Cooper and his gang. The three have vanished from the outside world exactly as other investigators who have hunted Alexander Archer have vanished. The minute they arrived, their handcuffs were struck off, and they were escorted to a huge, musty chamber that apparently is to be their quarters.
It's utterly and ridiculously impossible.
Hi, Jack.
Well.
You should all come over here and look at this.
Yeah? You should come over here and look at this.
Okay. What you found?
Look at those windows.
Yeah, all the windows is barred just the same way.
I don't mean the bars. Look at the architecture, how they're built.
What you mean? What I know about architecture?
Well, I don't know very much myself. But if this castle isn't typically Russian architecture of the early 1700s...
Huh? When did you say?
I said early 1700s.
Yeah, that's what I thought. What was the Russians doing over here off the coast of Canada in 1700?
How do I know? Besides, it wasn't Canada in those days.
Yeah, it wasn't nothing in 1700. I mean, nothing but red Indian.
That's right.
So why would Russians go and build a big castle like this here?
I don't know. Where's Reggie?
I don't know. Hi, Reggie.
Hello there.
Where you at?
Coming.
He's a-coming. You know, Jack...
Listen, Doc.
Huh?
Listen how Reggie's footsteps ring. Just walking naturally.
Yeah. Should be hard sneaking up on a fella in here.
These great chambers that do it.
Jack, this is really amazing, this place.
Jack was just saying this was built back in 1700.
Well, it's certainly been redone since then.
Everything but sitz baths and electric lights.
Yeah, they got vent outlets here for hot air furnaces. Wonder why they didn't put in electricity as long as they was going modern on everything else. Hey, what was that?
One of Richard Cooper's pet cougars.
Enough to chill your marrow.
Well, apparently he has them penned up all over the island, so we'll probably hear a great deal of them.
You know, I'm getting so I can't stand mountain lions. Every time I even mention him around Cooper, he slaps another gag in my mouth.
Which brings up something I want to talk about.
Yeah? Why is Cooper so touchy about his pet cougars?
No, it's about you I want to talk.
About me?
Yes. Doc, you've antagonized Cooper to the point where you're in real danger.
No more danger than you two, am I?
More immediate danger. You heard Linda Joyce whisper to me just before we were brought in here.
That we were safe so long as we amused Cooper.
Exactly. Well, Doc, you've annoyed him from the start. So whatever danger there is, you're facing it first.
What kind of danger? What's he going to do? Shoot me? Stab me in the back? If I had some idea...
No. We're not entirely blind to what's going on.
What you mean?
What one thing stands out above everything else?
Absolute isolation from the world.
Mountain lion?
You're both right. And there you are.
Huh. I don't get it. Doggone, I wish he wouldn't do that.
These are the facts as we know them. We've been kidnapped and brought to an island of which the world is utterly unaware. It seems that other men have been brought here and have never been heard of again.
You're giving me goosebumps, but go on.
Our captor, Richard Cooper, is a highly intelligent man. He claims great interest in the psychology and philosophy of medicine. He has numerous mountain lions in cages about which he maintains the strictest secrecy.
Yeah, we know all that, Jack, but what's that got to do with me? What's my danger?
I think he gave a clue to it last night at the halfway cabin.
Huh? Clue to what's going to happen to me?
Yes. You remember him wanting you to play a hand of poker?
Yeah.
And if you lost, you were to lend yourself to an experiment for the advancement of science?
Hey.
But look here, Jack. You mean Cooper is using these mountain lions for scientific research?
Well, you can see for yourself that they're an important part of Cooper's life, if he's a scientist.
And you think he wants to mess me into his cougar experiments?
Doc, I really don't know.
I'm supposing something like holding a stopwatch to see how long it takes a hungry cougar to chaw up and swallow a red-headed fella from Texas. He wants to give me one of them big cat's brains so I'll go around yowling and spitting.
Doc, cut it out.
Well, you brought the subject up. Said Cooper wants me for an experiment.
No, Doc.
You don't think I'm looking forward to having Cooper whittle on me, do you?
Will you take it easy and listen, Doc? We're all in the same boat. Whatever is in store for you is probably in store for us at a later date.
That's a comfort.
That is, unless we can find some way of fighting our way out of it.
But we couldn't break out of here, Jack.
Not if we had pickaxes and 20 years to do it in.
Not if you had 30 years.
Hey!
Cooper!
Hey, Cooper, where'd you pop up from?
Oh, does it matter? I'm here.
I saw you come in. Silly trapdoor business.
Yes, Packard. I didn't suppose you'd be impressed.
What do you want?
Why, you're my guests. I came up to bring you down to our evening meal. You mean we're free to descend the stairs and sit down to your table, free men? Oh, of course, of course. Dear, what did you expect of this place?
I reckon you'd throw some scrapping through the bars for us.
Long, if I allow you at my table, I must ask you to keep quiet.
Now, what have I said?
I simply despise hearing your voice.
Well, I'll be an overfed hipponoceros.
Doc.
Shall we go down then, gentlemen? Isn't that half dog, half wolf howling? Oh, yes. That's Prometheus. We tie him up at mealtime. He resents it.
That wasn't your wolf, Doc.
Oh, no, that wasn't Prometheus. Wait a moment while I unlock this door. Oh, that fellow seems to be a trifle hungry. All right, gentlemen. Wait for me, please. We'll all go down together. Now, follow me, please.
This is rather remarkable, Cooper. What's to prevent us from turning on you and making you our prisoner?
Oh, no.
Why not?
In the first place, men with loaded rifles are watching you. Will continue to watch you except when you're locked up in your own quarters.
Hey, that sounds silly.
It isn't, though. I spotted one of them already.
That's the immediate reason why it would be foolish to attack me. Now then, gentlemen, down these stairs, if you please.
Like a doggone palace.
The next reason for restraining yourselves is that you could not get out of this castle if you were free to try.
Why not?
There's a deep moat completely encircling the castle. The only means of exit is the drawbridge by which we arrive. All right, then we'd use the drawbridge. No. No, you'd never do that.
Why not?
No. Don't ask me to expand on the reason. My little secret, if you will. But I assure you, you'll never use the drawbridge without my consent.
Well, that was a doggone lot of marble steps, if you ask me.
Yes, that's all of them. Now, this way into the dinner hall. I think Linda has a throw rug or two in her quarters. That's all. Beautiful old tile floors. Why should they be covered?
But don't you get a little tired of the click and clatter of feet?
All the servants wear rubber soles. You won't hear them. Here we are.
Well, what you know? Looks like we're gonna eat anyway.
Yeah, yes. Now, if you'll range yourselves around the board. Packard, on my right, please. Just pull out the benches and be seated. There now. Go right ahead. Oh, you'll find the soup delicious.
Just smell that, will you, Reggie?
Quite. Eat heartily. I'd like to see that. And while you're so doing, I'll return to the matter of your escape.
Yes, do.
Even if you were free of the castle and loose on the island, you'd not get away.
You think not, huh?
I know. It's been tried before. Numerous times before.
What stopped them?
The reef that completely encircles the island. A boat would be dashed to pieces. A swimmer would meet the same fate.
But see here, Cooper. Your man Frank brought us through in the launch.
Oh, yes, there's one place at high tide, but I defy you to find it.
Well, I bet you I could come pretty close to it if I had to.
Pretty close is not close enough. It's certain death, and I'm warning you against trying it.
Cooper, this castle, is it as old as it appears to be?
Oh, yes. Early 18th century.
Then why doesn't the world know about it?
The world forgot about it nearly 200 years ago when it sank into the ocean.
You're really being serious about that?
Oh, yes, it's the truth. Less than 50 years after this castle was completed by a Russian nobleman, the entire island sank, castle and all. Oh, there's history to prove that.
But when did it reappear?
I don't know, but when I first saw it about 35 years ago, there it was, a great ruin entirely covered with mold and vines.
35 years you've known about this place?
Oh, yes. Another man and I discovered it on a fishing trip. We saw its possibilities and immediately set to work restoring it with numerous modern facilities.
Cooper.
Yes?
You said there were two of you.
Oh, yes, that's right. Of course, we had the help of many dependable men.
I'm only interested in this other man. Was he Alexander Archer by any chance?
Why, yes, now you mention it, it was.
Hey, fella, if Archer's half owner of this here castle...
Quiet, Mr. Long.
But doggone it, Archer must be right here in this castle now.
Don't make it necessary for me to gag you before this meal's over.
But Cooper, what's so out of the way about that?
What Long said was perfectly obvious.
It's obvious that Alexander Archer's in this castle.
Yes, and I detest hearing the obvious expressed.
Jack, then we've found Archer?
Oh, you didn't find him. I brought you to him.
Still, we found him.
Several other insurance investigators had the same honor, but, dear, I'm afraid it did them little good.
I wonder if you're telling the truth.
Mr. Packard, I don't lie.
I want to see Archer with my own eyes.
Would you know him if you saw him?
I would. Well, when do I see him?
I'm afraid that's impossible.
Why?
Alexander Archer's a very sick man. I don't think he's going to last much longer.
Sick?
But Jack, if he dies, then the insurance company is out the $1 million.
Oh, yes. I'm afraid my old friend hasn't much chance.
Are you murdering Alexander Archer?
Oh, dear, such unpleasant conversation.
Well, you admit doing away with them insurance investigators, don't you?
Oh, yes, Long. I'm afraid I do.
What happened to them? What'd you do to them?
The same thing that's going to happen to you very shortly now, my talkative friend.
The adventures of Jack, Doc, and Reggie have come to you in I Love a Mystery. directed and written by Carlton E. Morse. Scripts copyrighted by Morse Co. Incorporated. Produced and directed by story editor Jim Harmon. Featuring Les Tremaine as Jack Packard and Tony Clay as Doc Long. Consultants, Frank Brzee and David Lloyd. Your announcer, Fred Foy. This presentation has come from Hollywood. I Love a Mystery. A Carlton E. Morse audio novel featuring Jack, Doc, and Reggie, specialists in crime and adventure. Now following the northwest trail of a missing millionaire, a killer cougar, and the Phantom Castle. This is Fred Foy introducing Jim Harmon's presentation of Les Tremaine and Tony Clay in an original Carlton Morse thriller, The Fear That Creeps Like a Cat. 7 o'clock at night in the great reception room of the Phantom Castle on an unidentified island somewhere off the west coast of Canada, Jack, Doc, and Reggie are prisoners of Richard Cooper. Here are the essential facts. The castle, built in 1700 by the Russians, sank with the island only to emerge from the sea some 150 years later. It was found and restored by Richard Cooper and Alexander Archer, unbeknownst to the world. About the island is a vicious reef, preventing any ship from approaching and anyone on the island from escaping. Immediately about the castle is a deep moat of swift water, so that the castle stands on a tiny island within the main island. And here, within these great rooms, the three comrades are prisoners. Doc is in particular danger, because he is disliked by Cooper, and whom Cooper dislikes, he destroys. And their captor host have just finished dinner and have retired to the great reception hall.
Well, that was a very good dinner, Cooper.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
How was it that Linda Joyce didn't dine with us?
Oh, she prefers to eat in her own quarters. Do sit down. Sit down, all of you. Make yourselves comfortable.
Look here, did I see you just now press a button?
That's right.
But that means electricity.
Oh, yes, yes. We have our own power plant. A little bit incongruous in an ancient castle, I admit, but still we have it.
Then why not electric lights?
What's that?
You say you got electricity. Why don't you have some electric lights then instead of these here smelly old oil lamps?
I beg your pardon. They are not in the least smelly.
Well, that's what my mama always used to say down in Texas. She used to say, darn a smelly, smoky old lamp anyway.
I prefer the old-fashioned virtues myself.
You consider the oil lamp an old-fashioned virtue?
I most certainly do. Oh, yes. Just one thought, gentlemen. Prometheus.
I say, that brute of a wolf dog.
On guard, Prometheus. Just in case any of you might take it into your heads that you can avoid my hospitality. I won't be long.
What's he mean he won't be long? Where's he going?
I say, I wish that bloody beast would stop grinning in this direction.
Prometheus? That's no grin. That's a leer.
Keep looking at me with those bloodshot eyes, fangs like a bear.
Yeah, more wolf than dog, if you ask me.
That bell he wears on his collar is a fine bit of irony in itself.
Well, gentlemen, I haven't been any longer than necessary. I hope you haven't been bored.
Oh, not in the least.
Hi, Frankie. Old sippy cat.
Never mind the bouquet.
Frankie?
Yeah, Mr. Cooper.
You have the handcuffs?
Handcuffs? Hey.
Yeah, here they are, Mr. Cooper.
Oh, yes, very good. Now, Mr. Packard, if you lay your wrists along the arm of the chair.
What's the idea, Cooper?
On guard, Prometheus.
What's the matter with you, Cooper? Tell that wolf to lie down.
Now, Prometheus stands ready until you're all handcuffed to your chairs.
Well, that's ridiculous. You've shown us that we can't get out of the castle, let alone off the island.
That's right.
Then why handcuff us to our chairs?
In due time, Mr. Packard, in due time. Your wrist, please.
I refuse to be handcuffed.
Frankie?
Yeah.
Why, you low down...
Doc, don't move. Look at that dog.
Good thing you didn't move, Mr. Long. Prometheus would have been at your throat.
Yeah, doggone.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you, Frankie.
That's the second dirty blow you've given me, Frankie, my boy. Packard the pachyderm, they call me. Never forgets an injury.
Now then, Mr. York.
Doc and I could give him a bit of a battle.
With that wolf standing over Doc?
Yeah, one whiff of his breath makes me weak at the knees.
But at least we've got a fighting chance.
No use, Reggie. Save it.
That's good advice, young man. Good advice. Now, the other arm. That's it.
Valley well don't like it. I can tell you that.
All right, Prometheus. It's okay. Lie down. Now then, Frankie, bring that table with the lamp on it over here.
Yeah, sure. Table, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, ain't you going to handcuff me the same way as you done Jack and Reggie?
Oh, that's right, Mr. Long.
Oh, yeah? But look here, why not?
Aren't you enjoying your special privileges? That's it, Frankie. Put the table right down here between us.
Yeah.
Look here, Cooper, I don't know what's going on, but could I ask one favor?
Oh, what's that?
Call off that wolf dog just long enough for me to get one crack at that polecat's mug.
What about it, Frankie?
Sure, why not?
Go ahead, Mr. Long. Nothing's holding you back.
You mean that? You won't stick that wolf on me?
Oh, I promise.
That's all I want to know. Here I come.
Well, come on. What's all this chatterboxing for?
Why not you come, huh?
Yeah, that's what I said.
All right. You asked for it.
Here, Frankie, get to your feet. Get to your feet, you hear?
How the heck's he going to get to his feet when he's sleeping like a baby?
I say, Doc, good work.
Well, what'd you think I was doing? Waltzing with him?
Well, this is interesting. Yes, sit down, young man. Sit down.
Why should I sit down?
Huh?
Yeah, I just knocked out Frankie, didn't I? What's going to keep me from treating you the same way?
What is?
Yeah, what is?
Why, Prometheus here, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Lie still. Now then, will you sit down, please?
Yeah, okay, sure.
Now then, my boy, we're about to enjoy that little hand of draw poker we missed out on last night.
Poker?
Oh, yes. And here are the cards.
Now, wait a minute, Cooper.
Quiet, Packard. You're not concerned in this.
Now, just wait a minute, Cooper. I ain't said I'd play you a game of poker.
Oh, but you will, of course.
Well, I don't know whether I will or not.
I think you will. Now then, sit down and shuffle the cards while I explain the wager.
No, sir. I ain't touching them cards till I hear what we are playing for.
It's to be draw poker.
Yeah?
You are scheduled to be a part of a scientific experiment of mine.
Don't listen to him.
Quiet, please. There's no way out for you. You're my prisoner, and I shall use you any way I see fit.
What's that got to do with this poker game?
Oh, just this. You're going to gamble with me on how soon the experiment takes place.
Do what?
Yes. Yes, instead of money, these poker chips represent hours.
Hours, huh?
Ah.
24 chips, 24 hours.
Oh, yes. At this moment, you are 24 hours away from your fate. Every chip you lose brings you 1 hour closer to the experiment. Every chip you win from me adds 1 hour to your life.
You mean if I keep on winning chips from you, I keep adding hours to my life?
That's right.
And when I win all the chips in front of you, what happens?
Oh, I'm the banker. I can keep on losing chips as long as it suits my humor.
Well, what's we waiting for? This is right down my alley.
But remember, if you lose your stack, when those 24 chips are gone, it's the end.
Start dealing the cards, Cooper. Win, lose, or draw. This is going to be one rip-snorting poker game.
adventures of Jack, Doc, and Reggie have come to you in I Love a Mystery. Created and written by Carlton E. Morse. Scripts copyrighted by Morse Co. Incorporated. Produced and directed by story editor Jim Harmon. Featuring Les Tremaine as Jack Packard and Tony Clay as Doc Long. Consultants, Frank Brzee and David Lloyd. Your announcer, Fred Foy. This presentation has come from Hollywood.
You've been listening to the GSMC Classics series, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Follow us at www.gsmcpodcast.com and find all of our timeless programming by typing GSMC Classics into any podcast app, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and more. Remember to subscribe to the GSMC Classics series podcasts of your choice to stay up to date on new episodes. And if you could take a minute to give us a nice review, that really helps us to get this ageless programming out to others who would enjoy it just as much as you have. Check out all of our GSMC Classics series podcasts. Whether you're in the mood for comedy, romance, adventure, history, science fiction, horror, or anything in between, the GSMC Classics series has you covered. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program on the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network.